In K2, 1 to 5 players race to climb one of Earth's most dangerous mountains. Can you survive to the end of the 18 days? Each player takes all the components of a single color: a player board, 4 climbers, 2 tents, 2 markers, and their deck. Put one of each climber at the base camp and the other 2 at the bottom of the score track. Randomly put out 3 risk tokens. Keep the rest nearby. Shuffle the weather tiles, then place them face down. Beginners should start with the summer tiles. Draw one and flip the topmost tile face up. Tiles show 3 days of weather. Sometimes storms will hit certain levels of the mountain. At the end of each turn, slide the weather marker to the next space. Replace finished tiles with the next in the stack. The markers go in the 1 spaces on your player board. They track climber acclimatization. Certain spots on the board add or subtract points. Bad weather also takes some away. Some cards, which I'll talk about next, add points. If the acclimatization level reaches 0, then that climber needs to be rescued. Their points meeple moves down 4 victory point spaces, and climber meeple is moved to a spot below 6,000 meters. Once used, remove the rescue card from the game. On the left is the rescue card, which isn't used in advanced games. There, if a climber loses all acclimatization points, they're removed from the game and earn only 1 point at the end. The green numbers are movement points, blue ones add acclimatization points. Split movement cards allow you to move up or down. Players draw 6 cards, choose 3, and reveal as a group. The player with the most movement points takes a risk token. This penalty can be used to subtract movement or acclimatization points. On your turn, use those 3 cards you played. Cards can be split between climbers, but a single card's points must be used for a single climber. Some spaces need extra movement points and some give an acclimatization penalty. Once everyone is gone, check the victory points and acclimatization levels. You can't end a turn above 6 acclimatization. And apply storm effects. To build a tent on a climber's current space, spend that space's movement points, then place the matching tent token. Each climber can build 1 tent, but can use the other climber's tent. Tents can't be moved. Multiple tents can be in the space. Tents provide +1 acclimatization point. After each turn, the next person becomes player 1. Once the weather tiles run out, add up the total score of each player's team of climbers. The player with the highest score number wins. Play cards to move or prepare for a move, keep an eye on the weather and acclimatization points, and outscore your opponents. That's K2. Our advanced games, including setup and takedown, are about 75 minutes. Once comfortable with the family rules, 60 minutes is doable. For a game about a huge mountain, it doesn't take up much space. The board's pretty standard, and there are only a few small piles. Player areas are less than a placemat. There is next to no reading, but there's math every turn. The card movement, acclimatization, VP, and so on. The decisions in this game can be difficult, and your climbers can die unless you stick with the family rules. Some players, especially younger ones, may struggle with that. All but 2 of our games have been extremely close. Because of that, it can get quite nasty. An opponent's climber can fail at any time, so you're never out of it. In one game, I blocked Dad from reaching the peak. Me and Mom grabbed whatever points we could, so Dad gave up and dropped both his climbers down to a lower spot where Mom's tent was. Due to space limits, she couldn't have climbers there as well. Her lower climber had to stay where it was, and her higher one had to go down a slower route. Needless to say, she didn't win that game. K2 feels very quick because you play cards simultaneously and need to pay attention to what everyone else is doing. Each climber is trying to get as high as possible, but you win depending how they do as a team. Balancing both climbers is a lot of fun. I mentioned in my story that the number of climbers allowed in a space depends on where you are and on player count. Tents could decide the winner, but blocking opponents does decide the winner. There is randomness, but you still have control. The weather tile order is different every game, but you can still see a couple days ahead. The risk tokens are 0, 1, and 2, but but one is the most common. You draw from a deck, but it's only 18 cards, so you'll get an idea of what's been played. The hand management is neat, especially the last turn when you only have 3 cards to choose from. All earlier hands led to those cards, so don't just play cards without thinking things through. The player with the most movement points on a turn takes the risk token. On a tie, nobody takes the penalty. It seems gamey. You're already dealing with worse weather, acclimatization loss, and fighting for space. If the designers wanted to add challenge, they probably could have come up with a more thematic way. The Avalanche mini expansion is cheap and pushes climbers down the mountain unless they're intense. It mixes up the weather tiles a bit, meaning you have less of an idea of what to expect. I like it. Broad Peak is a big expansion that adds a new double-sided board and new modes. One mode uses a map similar to the base game, and I enjoy it more. The other uses the Broad Peak map, and it's almost too hard, at least with the winter weather. I like K2 a lot. It's challenging, can be played on a weeknight, and can be adjusted to play with most types of gamers. Not a lot of people know about this, and it's a little hard to find, but it's worth checking out. I think a lot of families will enjoy this.